Thank you. We are here from California. We're very excited to show you some animals that are not normally here at SeaWorld. As a matter of fact, you can probably immediately tell this is going to be a little bit different show than what you're used to because we have no water.
Nope, no water.
Yeah, which means y'all aren't going to get wet.
I don't care about that. I'm just glad that we don't smell like fish.
Yeah, we were by some of the trainers the other day. Woo. Actually, the reason why they don't give us water, can you imagine us in wetsuits? Don't think too hard, it'll hurt. That's Gabe, my name's David, and we come from an organization called Conservation Ambassadors out in California. We've been a partner to SeaWorld for about 25 years, SeaWorld and Busch Gardens, doing stuff with them all over the country. And one of our favorite things is we do a lot of rescues together. I don't know if you guys know this or not. It's something that they don't talk about enough, and that's the fact that SeaWorld actually rescues and rehabilitates and releases back into the wild more animals than almost anybody on Earth. There's like, I think up to date, it's like almost 40,000 animals so far. I know. It's awesome. I was asking the guy in charge of the rescue team here, JP, I was asking him when we came out here, I'm like, give me some numbers, give me what you guys have been doing around here lately. Just this year, since January, all right, I memorized these. 27 dolphins they've rescued and released back into the wild, 49 manatees, and 78 sea turtles. How cool is that? They have like a 96% success rate of getting these animals back out. Now what Gabe and I do is we take animals that cannot be totally fixed and put back in the wild. We're a rescue zoo that takes animals, kind of a last chance saloon, that can't be released back in the wild because they can't take care of themselves anymore. Imagine an owl flying across the road, gets hit by a car. You guys have seen things like that happen before. And somebody finds it, it's still alive. They bring it to a veterinarian, they bring it to SeaWorld, they bring it to a park, and they try to fix it. The veterinarians work on it, but maybe they can't totally fix that wing and the owl can never fly again. Obviously, we can't release it back in the wild. It's not like a chicken chasing seeds, but it doesn't mean it needs to die. It just means somebody needs to take care of it, so that's what we do. And we also get animals for another reason. Sometimes people get silly ideas in their head. They're going to make a wild animal into a house pet. Now, I know none of you would try to make a wild animal into a house pet, would you? No. Why do I not believe you? Who wants a monkey as a pet? Raise your hand. See? I didn't believe you. It sounds fun, and they make it look fun. The little Friends monkey, little Marcel, the little Night at the Museum monkey. Yeah, Dexter. Dexter's not a boy, by the way. I know that monkey. Yeah, a friend of mine is the trainer for that monkey. That monkey is a girl. Her name is Crystal, and she is a holy terror. You wouldn't let her go anywhere near your house. These are not animals that work out, and when they don't, we're a place that they come to. We're different because we don't just take these animals and stick them in a cage forever. They get to come out and be ambassadors. Normally, what Gabe and I do is 300 school programs a year. Every single day, we are normally at schools teaching kids about conservation, getting them close to these animals, and well, not this year. This year, SeaWorld called us up and they said, hey, what are you guys doing? We said, nothing. Yeah, school's closed, so they decided to have us come out and visit all the parks and bring some of these amazing animals so that the whole families can see them. So we started off at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, and then we went to SeaWorld San Diego. We did a few months out there. We just finished up there, and now we're here for the summer. So hopefully, you guys will enjoy these animals as much as the other parks did.
Let's start local. I love that response. This is one of the coolest, most unappreciated animals on the planet. Her name is Opie, and what is she? She is the Virginia opossum. And you know, I want to tell you her story. I want to tell you her rescue tale. A lady driving home at night, 10 o'clock at night, driving her car down the road. She sat out on the corner ride. She noticed an opossum walking down the road. She tried to stop her. Too late, and she hit that opossum. It was an accident. She didn't mean for it to happen, and she felt terrible. She got out of the car, walked over and saw that she had hit and killed an opossum. And just about ready to leave, she started thinking, very smartly, she had heard something about opossum. They're marsupial. They're related to kangaroos and koalas. The marsupials have a pouch, a pocket on their belly. They carry what? No, their lunch to school. Yeah, their babies. She had heard that even if a mother opossum is dead, maybe, just maybe, there might still be some babies alive in that pouch. She went back over there, she bent down, she opened up the pouch. Sure enough, 5 little baby opossum. Each about the size of my thumb. Little tiny guys. She went through, she scooped the whole mess. She brought it to our center at 11 o'clock at night. She said, here you go. We said, thank you very much. And we started taking care of them, and all 5 survived. All 5 made it. 4 of them started to gain weight. 1 of them wasn't gaining weight. A problem that we've since solved. 4 of them started to climb. 1 of them wasn't climbing. She went back to the vets. You know what we found out? She can't see very well. She She's almost completely blind. She can see bright lights, but that's about it. When it came time for the others to go free, little Opie became our ambassador opossum. 3 years now. She's 3 years old. Doesn't sound that old, but opossum only live 3 years. That's a short life, isn't it? 3 years? But get this. In those 3 short years, a female opossum can give birth to over 50 babies. I'll say something on this stage right now. If I had 50 kids, I'd only want to live about 3 years too. These guys are somewhat immune to rattlesnake venom. They eat the ticks to carry Lyme disease. They clean up our yards from slugs and snails and debris. These guys are the only marsupial in North America. Let's give the opossum a little respect. That's a little
The only marsupial in North America, but all of its cousins, all the other pouched animals, that's kangaroos and koalas and all that, they're from Australia. That's what Australia is famous for. But believe it or not, I think Australia should be famous for this dude right here. I know you're not with me. Little brown bird, little boring brown bird, but this guy has the most famous voice, the most famous call of any bird in the world. You've heard it a bunch of times. You just have always heard it in the wrong context. You've heard his call in the background of every single jungle movie you've ever watched in your life. They always use it. He ain't from any jungle. He's not from any jungle at all. He's from the arid, dry, deserty outback, the arid forests of Australia where the kangaroos are. He's not from a jungle, but his voice sounds so tropical, they always use it in the background. For decades they've been using it. His name is his call. His call is so famous. You remember onomatopoeia from grade school, you know, the sound that is the word, you know, like power, bang? His name is kookaburra, and that's his call. He says, cook, 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 cook. Laughing. The laughing kookaburra, yeah. You recognize that sound, right? They always use it. It sounds so tropical, so exotic, but it's just a kingfisher from Australia. That's all he is. Now, I think he should be famous for what he does, not what he says. He is the kingfisher. Now, he's not catching fish out there in the arid, dry forest. He's catching landfish, lizards, snakes. These guys are famous for being able to catch 6-foot-long snakes and eat them. That little dude, yeah, you can go online and you can see videos of it. It's crazy. They'll grab one of those 6-foot snakes and they've got the most powerful little beak. It doesn't look like much, but man, this dude can grab that snake and with his powerful neck, whip it back and forth until it's a limp noodle. And then he just sits, it's the best part. He sits there with it hanging out of his mouth and slowly swallows and digests it for 3 days. It's like leftover spaghetti for 3 days. You look at this guy, he doesn't look like much, but he can do those things. Make the most famous call and eat a 6-foot snake. That's pretty cool. Now, there was a lady in Northern California. She wanted to hear that every day. She thought it would be so cool to hear that because they're called the Bushman's alarm clock because they do that every morning at sunrise. So she found a way, the internet of course, to get this little illegal bird, and she brought it home, and she lived in an apartment. The neighbors, yeah, they turned her in, and little Giggles here, he came to us, and he's not the prettiest bird, but I do love sharing him with the kids in schools. He's a pretty impressive bird. We do get pretty birds. We get very beautiful birds. Matter of fact, this next bird, Gabe thinks is the most handsome bird we have. Pretty sure it's because they look alike.
I think that was the vulture. Those are easy, buddy. This is Whizzer, and I do think he's magnificent. What is he? Vulture. He is the turkey vulture. This guy here, he has a great life. You know what he does? He gets up in the morning and he sunbathes. There we go. He'll warm himself up once he's nice and warm. He'll take off the perch. He'll flap those big wings just once or twice, and his wings lock in one position. He becomes like a glider and he starts to soar. Big, lazy circles. He looks lazy. He's working. He's up top going. He's smelling. He can smell dead stuff a mile away if the wind is right. And when the coast is clear, he comes down to the sky. He lands on top of that dead stuff and he starts to eat. And he eats and he eats and he eats. He'll take so much food and put so much food in that vulture belly, you know he's too heavy to fly. He'll gorge himself so full he can't get off the ground. That's ridiculous. Let's say you're the vulture. You've eaten all that food, and a coyote also smells the carrion. Uh-oh. The coyote comes running across the field. The coyote's getting closer and closer. He wants to get away, but he can't. He's too heavy to fly. At the last second, you know what he does? Very important survival tool. He can throw up whenever he wants to. Coyote gets closer and closer. The vulture says, ah! Brr. Sure, he goes hungry. Better to lose your lunch than lose your life, don't you think? I should think so. This magnificent bird 27 years ago was soaring free. 27 years ago, he was living his life in the wild in Northern California, and somebody had the nerve to shoot him in his left wing. He's been grounded ever since. And I adore him, and we've been together now 27 years, a long time. And I live for the day when maybe a kid will name their soccer team the Turkey Vultures. How about it, kids, this year? Name your team the Turkey Vultures. And then your parents can sit there and go Vultures. That's Wizard the Magnificent, my favorite bird. Come on, Wizzy.
We're gonna go from handsome to cute. I know monkeys are cute. She's especially cute. Her name's Maya. She's a little spider monkey. Maya came to us in 1994. We got a call from the LA County Sheriff's Department, the animal control. They said, you guys gotta get down here quick. We just found a monkey dumped in a garbage dumpster. She was almost dead. They probably thought she was gonna die. That's why they threw her away. They didn't want her anymore. They had her as an illegal pet, but she didn't. She spent 6 months in the hospital getting over pneumonia and all kinds of other things, and then she survived, and she's been with us for almost 30 years. She's one of our greatest little ambassadors. She's probably seen like 5 million kids now. Yeah, she made it. She didn't die, and that's something that happens all the time, believe it or not. People dump these animals. We found monkeys running around apartment complexes eating cat food off people's porches and stuff. It happens all the time because people have them against the law, especially out in California where we are, totally against the law. We have a real problem out there though. We live right next to a state that has no laws. Yeah, it's called Nevada. You can go over there and do whatever you want. People go over to Vegas for a weekend, they fall in love with a little monkey in a pet store, they pay like $15,000 for a little animal like this. And then they bring it back to California where it's against the law. It's against the law around here too. And then they bring it home and they figure out what a bad idea that was. You see, monkeys are set up to be swinging 150 feet up in the trees. She's a spider monkey. This is how she spends her time. She doesn't jump around the tops of the branches like a lot of monkeys. She's set up to be a brachiator, a swinger. Her fingers are really weird. They're like big old alien ET fingers. And she has the most highly adapted prehensile grasping tail in the world. They're just like hooks. She is so comfortable just hanging around like this. That's how she spends her day. Now that's not how she spends her day in your house. She jumps around on the curtains and she gets up on the couch and she knocks things off the shelves. But the most important thing people find out, this little monkey is set up by nature to be a seed disperser. Yeah, she eats fruit, seeds and all. She doesn't eat around the core of the apple. The seeds get processed in her belly and the seeds come out the other end. Every 15 minutes. Monkeys poop every 15 minutes. Now, this is not something that we want in our house. Yeah, they get attitudes that they need to have to survive in the wild, kind of a get out of my way, gotta take care of myself attitude. You end up getting fed, poop all over the house, and leaving nice little warm brown presents on your pillow at night next to your Yeah, pretty soon everybody's like, I do not want this monkey anymore. Then they find out that darn things live 40 or 50 years. Yeah, so these are monkeys that end up with us. Now, whenever we get a monkey like this, we love them, we want to spend a lot of time with them, but we can't spend all day, so we try to put them in with others of their own kind. They're very social in the wild. But because she was not fed correctly, because she never grew up like a normal spider monkey, her bones are messed up and stuff, we can't put her in with other spider monkeys. But that's okay. She's got a new friend. Yeah, that little monkey peeking through the curtain over there, that just came to us this year from a famous musician that thought he was above the law, tried to make a monkey into a pet, got caught. I can't even say his name because it's still a court case. But now, they're best buds. Yeah, they live together now, him and Maya, and guess what? They even got a joint Amazon account together. So now, they're prime mates.
His name is Darwin. And Darwin is a Capuchin monkey. Capuchin is well, they got the name because there's a group of priests in France that wear a black cap and have a brown cloak. And when the first explorers came to the New World, they saw these monkeys and they said, oh, they reminded them of the Capuchins, like little Capuchins. It's also where we get the name for a cappuccino for the coffee drink, but that's a different show. Now this guy here, so smart. He lives in a family group called the Troop. They have a language. He has certain calls that mean certain things. He has a sound that means hawk or eagle. He has another sound that means snake or maybe a cat. They have a language. What did he just catch? Was there a bug? Good job, buddy. Oh, you bring it to me. Oh, what a nice guy. These guys are so amazing. Well, here's the deal. I don't want to stand in front of you and start a monkey appreciation club. We all already love monkeys. But 90% of the world's monkeys are endangered in the wild. They're disappearing due to loss of the rainforest. We have to protect our forest. Here's how it works. This guy comes from Costa Rica. Costa Rica as a nation protects their forests. They have habitat. This species is doing very, very well. Shows me we give land, the animals will do just fine right alongside of us. Once again, his name is Darwin, the smartest animal I've ever worked with, and that includes Dave, my coworker. That's little Darwin.
That's a compliment. That's okay. That monkey is very smart, but actually, he wasn't telling you the complete truth. This is actually the smartest animal we work with. Yeah, a bird. Yeah, an animal that has a brain the size of a shelled walnut, one of the most intelligent creatures on the planet. You're looking at the smartest bird in the world. Well, not him, he's an idiot. Ravens. Have you guys heard about this? Crows and ravens? They do university studies with these guys. They put them up against monkeys and even apes. They give them these crazy problems to solve. They do cognitive research studies. They'll make them like do a puzzle where they have to modify a tool to get at a tool to get at food, and that kind of multi-step thinking. The only ones that can solve those problems are ravens, chimpanzees, and a few college students. Just this year, they announced some new studies. They found out that ravens have facial recognition better than your iPhones. Yeah, they have multi-generational facial recognition. They can not only recognize somebody they knew 40 years ago, they can recognize their kids. They can pick them out of a lineup. They even put matches on people and stuff. Unbelievable intelligence. I love taking them to the schools because I tell the kids, next time somebody out on the playground looks at you and goes, "Hey, bird brain," you just look back and go, "Thank you." Yeah, oh, yeah, now he's lighter. Yeah, he was a little heavy. This guy right here, he's kind of like the monkeys. He's a seed disperser. He poops every 15 minutes. But he also eats everything else, not just fruit. The crows and ravens, I know, you end up with them pooping on your car and they're yelling at you up in the trees. They're not very respected. But it's an extremely intelligent animal that's up there and actually running around and helping clean up the environment. A little boy, 13 years old, found this bird and 4 of his brothers and sisters in a nest that got blown out of a tree in a storm. This is a common story. That's how we end up with a lot of animals. And instead of calling a rehabilitator or a veterinarian, he took them home. He took them home and tried to make them into pets. And 6 months later, 4 of them had passed away. He was the only one left. He was pretty sick. They took him to the vet, and the vet talked him out of him. Beals has been with us for 10 years now, and I'm going to show you how smart he is. He's so smart that he's going to get off stage right now, and you guys might want to take a clue from him, because Gabe's coming out with something you might want to leave as well. Not kidding, not kidding.
Do y'all like reptiles? How about snakes? How about venomous snakes? Her name is Precious. And Precious is stunningly beautiful. She also happens to be the venomous snake of Northern California. And as I get her out, you might hear her talking to me. You get kind of quiet, you might hear her talking to me. She doesn't talk with a hiss. Instead, she makes this kind of weird, it's like a rattling noise. This is Precious, the Northern Pacific rattlesnake. Check her out. Do you hear that? That's really weird. Oh shoot, where did she go? I think that's very funny. I did that in the school once. I said, "Oh shoot, where'd you go?" And this teacher stood up screaming and ran out of the auditorium. She left the whole second grade class and was gone. This is Precious, your neighbor. Check out the rattlesnake. Come on up here, girl. Isn't she beautiful? I said, isn't she beautiful? All right. I want to tell you her story. I want to tell you her tale. It involves her tail. You see, there was a man out using a weed whacker and about 10 years ago, and he cut her across her tail really badly. Almost cut her tail completely off. This guy felt really bad. He got a box, and he quickly scooped her up, and he took her to Walmart. Walmart is the largest retailer in the nation. Come on, Orlando, speed it up. Retailer, anyways, he scooped her up, he sent her to our vet hospital. Our vet staff saved her life, but you know what? When she strikes, she always seems to miss, and that's why we have her in this center. And you know what? If there's a message to her being here today, it's this. Kids, Leave the snakes alone. We're having a problem with kids and rattlesnakes in the U.S. Every year, more and more kids are getting struck. Is it because there's too many snakes? No, it's because there's way too many children. No, not too many children either. I think it's all these shows showing people handling venomous snakes. I think kids are getting the wrong idea. You know, inside her mouth, she has enough venom to kill a cow. It's a creature to be respectful of, but it is one we can and should peacefully live right alongside of. That's so precious, the Northern Pacific rattlesnake. Say, not precious? That's precious, and here comes not so precious. Oh, wait, oh, sorry, you misunderstand. I love Pepe, I was referring to you.
You can't call him Pepe anymore.
Oh yeah, no more Pepe.
Yeah, he's been Pepe for 10 years. We had to change his name this year. His new name is canceled. This look, you haven't seen this side of him, have you? You don't usually get to see this. This is pretty cute, huh? Yeah, I want everybody to see, yeah, you don't get to see this end. This is the cute end. These guys are relatives of the badger. They're actually a very magnificent creature. We don't appreciate them at all. But I'm gonna teach you how to appreciate the skunks in your neighborhood. Yeah, I'm gonna teach you how to not see that end, all right? This guy is actually gonna do you a favor. He's in your neighborhood whether you like it or not. He is going to come into your backyard, probably tonight, whether you like it or not. But here's how you can actually befriend him and let him do his job. His job is to go in your yard and forage, to eat snails, slugs, bugs, mice, rotten fruit. This guy can eat his body weight in food every night. They're just little pigs, man. It's awesome when they're doing the right thing, eating the right thing. Here's how you make it work. This is how you make it work for you. You pick up 3 things. You pick up pet food at night. Your pets do not need to eat in the middle of the night. Grab that cat food off the porch, bring it inside for the night. Then he's not gonna get into the pet food. Then you put a nice tight lid on your garbage can, maybe a chain or a bungee cord over it. He's not gonna get in the garbage. One last thing you gotta do. He is totally nocturnal. Only comes out in the pitch black. Bring your dog in at night. That's the biggest problem we have with these guys. I love my dog. He's my favorite, and I think of him as a smart guy. But the dude's been skunked 5 times. 5 times. He'll never learn. Dogs just don't learn. If a Florida panther comes across a skunk and gets nailed, they never go near a skunk again. But your dog can get skunked last night, and tonight he'll go back out in the yard and he'll go like this. Kitty? Even though the skunk tries everything they can to show that they're not a kitty, these guys are like gymnasts. They can walk on their hands. They can walk on their hands for hours like this. What they're doing is they're showing off that big giant billboard sign, that black and white stripe that says, "I'm not a kitty, I'm a skunk, duh." And your dog says, "Kitty?" And goes after him, gets nailed, comes in the house, rubs on the couch, rubs on the carpet, and you go, "Oh, I hate skunks." We shouldn't hate the skunk, we should just bring our dog in. It's not the skunk's fault. I'm telling you, these guys do anything. They do this little dance backwards, they hop, they warn them, they run away, they do everything they can, and the dog just thinks it's a cat, and they go after him. So if we pick up that pet food, cover the garbage can, and bring our dogs in at night, this little cutie can actually do you a favor. Now, he's pretty cute, but believe it or not, he's not the cutest animal we brought. Check this out.
From Madagascar, his name is Ringo, and Ringo is the beautiful ring-tailed lemur. If you look at his eyes, if you look just at the lemur's eyes, do you think he's awake in the day or at night? I agree, he looks nocturnal. Those big, forward-facing, circular eyes. You know what's funny? He's not. He's daytime. Just like you and I, he gets up in the morning, first thing lemurs do is they say hello to everybody in their family. You want to see how they do it? All right, watch carefully. I'm gonna make it sound like a pig, a little grunt. He's gonna grunt back, and he's gonna do something rather strange. Here we go. Oh, by the way, this is not COVID approved, so here we go. Did you see what he did? First he answered my pig-like grunt, and then he licked inside my nose. Everybody, turn to the person next to you, and say hello like a lemur. No, don't do that. Lemurs, they say hello, then they groom each other. They use their teeth, they comb their fur with their teeth. It's called a dental comb. Then they jump from tree to tree. Amazing jumping ability. They just basically fly. They're just amazing jumpers. They use that tail as kind of a wispy sail to keep their balance. Now in Madagascar, there are 107 different species of lemur. 107 different kind, all of them, 2 things in common. They're only found in Madagascar, nowhere else on the planet, and every single lemur is in danger of extinction. I hope in the coming years, do everything we can to protect Madagascar, their island home. Now his story, he was found, he was about the size of my hand, he was being smuggled into California. They got caught, he was taken away, and he's done great, and he lives with other lemurs now. But I wish he was in the wild licking other lemurs' noses. That's where he truly belongs. A primitive primate, just like Dave, my coworker. That's Ringo. Let's say goodbye to Ringo.
I like to move it. It's kind of crazy, isn't it, the variety of animals that we end up with? We have about 150 rescued animals at our center. We don't need any more. We got a call 3 years ago from the California Department of Fish and Wildlife asking Gabe and I to come up and help them. We're kind of known for helping them. Well, we didn't really want to go help them this time because somebody's exotic pet had gotten loose and we didn't want to go find it. It was a hippopotamus. Yeah, people are crazy. Yeah. It took us 3 months to find it. It was hiding in ponds on ranches. Those things can hold their breath for a really long time. Finally did though. Now, you guys can help out. There's a couple things you can do. One thing is, if you see wildlife in distress, don't go try to take care of it yourself. Call a professional. There are literally teams of people that are staring at telephones waiting to respond to wildlife emergencies. They'll get that animal, get it fixed, and get it back in the wild. And there's really easy stuff you can do at home.
Oh, similarly, for instance, I was at the gym the other day. And I drank the Gatorade. 30 seconds to drink that Gatorade. That plastic container is going to be on this planet for 300 years. So, and if we can, I don't want to get on a soapbox and get all preachy or whatever, but if we can minimize the use of single-use plastics, it's better for the terrestrial creatures as well as the marine animals we have here at SeaWorld.
Yeah, they won't end up with sea turtles coming in with six-pack rings around their neck and straws up their noses. Thanks for letting us share these animals with you. Come back later in the summer, we'll have some different ones. Until then, you guys have a wild time here at SeaWorld.